and gratitude to the TUT Department, Faculty of Information and Communication Technology for extending this invite to me. This is really an honor and privilege. Thank you very much. And secondly, I'd like to acknowledge and recognize all protocols present. So I'm going to start with my presentation. My name is Sammy Machethe, as I've been introduced. I'm not gonna go through that again. So I'm gonna give you the keynote address ahead of the panel that we're gonna have. So one thing I wanna say is, I think TUT is actually really ahead when it comes to AI. You really have done a lot from launching your hub in 2023 after UGA, and also having the kind of leadership you have. This is really great. Like you can see even our MCs, they are really immense in AI. For me, I think this is really awesome, and I hope and wish I'm gonna be part of the people who are gonna be taking up the short course in AI that TUT has launched in 2023. Raising my hand, I don't know who else is going to be part of that, but I'm going to be part of it. Okay, so by the end of this presentation, since I see majority are already immersed in AI, we will have been reminded about the history of AI, the evolution of AI, the current impact, and the future of AI. Also, if we look back in history, we understand in 1950 the question was, can a machine think? I don't think there's anyone who's still asking the question right now. Yeah. So machines can think, and in certain contexts they can think faster beyond human capability. So in 2025 the question is, which everyone is actually really scared of, are the machines going to replace us? I don't know, like for me, to be honest, like I'm a little bit scared. And if we look, for example, like if we look at Microsoft, they laid off a lot of people. And their functions were actually replaced by AI. But I think this is an opportunity for us to actually think and come up with innovative ways to do things better and coexist with AI. So one thing I would like to also highlight is that the key thing when it comes to artificial intelligence is representation. So because AI deals with a lot of data, if we don't represent it very well, we can really get lost and misrepresent some information and make wrong decisions in companies, in institutions, and stuff like that. So, I've actually put the robot on the right there. It says TUT AI Week 2026. So the message I'm trying to deliver there is, I really feel honored to be the first one to open this special historic moment. We're not sure, maybe next year it might be a robot standing here, or coexisting with the MCs or the speakers. So really, I think it's really historic. Okay, so we have many definitions of AI, like our MC said. But in this particular context, I'm going to go with this one. So AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and act like humans. And we already are seeing that. There are many other definitions, but I think if we can pause and look at that, where are we going with AI? Like, what is it? Like we heard Dr. Etienne saying all the plans they have within the faculty in different departments. So obviously it's to have robots coexist. And then also, I think to our students, I think the challenge I'm getting from Dr. Etienne's presentation is, are we going to help the faculty to identify AI written programs and stuff? Are we taking that challenge. I don't know if we have our students here. Are we up for the challenge? Okay, so now we're going to go to the evolution of AI. So we're going to go from 1950, Turing test. That's when AI started. And the question was, can the machine think, like I said? And the whole idea here was to say, we're going to have a human interacting with another human, we're going to have a machine interacting with a human, and then they actually had judges to actually judge to see which response came from a machine and which one came from a human. And then the whole idea, if the machine is successful, it means the judges were not able to identify between a response coming from a machine and a response from a human. And we have seen that happening a lot. And we come to 1955, that was the birth of AI, when the term artificial intelligence was conceived. I'm not going to dwell much on that. I'm trying to fast to the current. And 1964, chatbots being introduced, and you can see now it's starting to be more popular around. And it looks like it's a new technology, but it's been there for the longest time. And we had like general purpose mobile robots in 1966, and a chess player that actually won against a computer chess player that won against some top champions in chess, human beings. So they beat them. So IBM they actually built that in 1997. 1999, we had a dog pet by Sony. 2002, a vacuum robot that could clean properly and clearly without hitting the obstacles. And now we can see it looks like a technology that's emerging now. And I'm sure majority of us, we don't have that, but have it. And 2011, Apple Siri was introduced. 2014, Alexa by Amazon. 2014, robot passes the Turing test that was introduced in 1950. So now it's a robot doing the test and passing it. So now to our MC's point, these machines, they've got like millions and billions of networks within them, and the question now is going to be, like, it's going to be asked is, are these AI robots really, their intelligence, is it really artificial or is it becoming like a real intelligence? Is it artificial? Yes, it's artificial because they are man-made, they're not natural, but we're probably going to get to a stage where robots are going to be building other robots, and I think that we're now start seeing maybe those they are becoming like naturally intelligent. And in 2022, the most popular one, ChatGPT, that we're all talking about, and I'd like by show of hands, anyone who hasn't used ChatGPT, please. We all have used it. Okay. So these machines are actually designed to do problem solving, decision making, and understanding language. So I've done a little bit of research on LinkedIn in particular. I was actually particularly impressed by one of the students in one of the universities, and understand some of the students here in TUT have done some amazing things. So this student has actually built a website that can help students to apply, so like from start to end. And there's not much of AI used, but you can see there's a lot of thinking behind, and there's a lot of AI concepts used. So I think that's another challenge that I'm actually giving to our students here to say, let's think about this. Let's see how we can help the faculty in terms of all the programs that are going to be introduced, all the courses. And then also, after the panel, I'm sure there are some projects that some students can actually think about, or some of the guests here are going to be willing to sponsor students to work on. All right, thank you very much. So these are some of the top AI companies that we all know about. So like I was saying that I had to sit last night with my mentor to refine some of the slides because some of the trends were actually a bit old. So if you look at NVIDIA, very well-known company that produces chips for AI machines. So if we look at our mission statement, to bring superhuman capabilities to every human in every industry. What does that say? So it means we sort of are needing to catch up with the machines. So if we look, NVIDIA, it has reached 40 trillion of market share value and becoming the first publicly traded company to actually reach this milestone. And it really shows that there's a lot of interest in coming up with AI solutions and a lot of startups. So if you look on the internet, you will see there are a lot of startups that are not showing as yet, but you can see based on this, because they're purely operating on GPU, so it shows that there are a lot of companies that actually becoming players in AI. And then if we look back, I'm sure we all know about the DeepSeek, the Chinese version of ChatGPT. When it launched as a reasoning model, so it's been there for quite some time. Obviously, they evolve through different stages. And in January 2024, they became a reasoning model. And when it launched, it really shaped the industry, the AI industry, quite a bit. And NVIDIA lost about 432 billion because of that launch. But it really emerged. And these are other key players like Microsoft, empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more, which I think TUT is actually doing that. It's on that journey to achieve more. And all of us are here to witness it, to participate, and become part of the journey. So if we look on the far right, I've got that robot there. So in July 11, 2025, it's one of the slides that we put last night. There's a company called Lemonade Insurance Company in UK. So this company at the moment, they say they are processing 30% of their claims without human intervention at all. So if you look at that, now the question of whether the robots are going to replace us, yes, no, it's becoming sort of a worrying factor, because that is part of the job that could have been done by a couple of human beings. But how do we coexist with it? I think that's a question we need to ask. But I'll go to the next slide. Really stop thinking and just purely rely on the AI tools. So I think while we actually use all these tools, we still need to be ethical. Because, for example, like if you're a student and purely all your assignments actually done on AI, you just do your assignments on AI, you paraphrase, and you paraphrase code or your paraphrased notes or whatever. At the end of the day, you come to the industry, what do you know? Not much. You don't know the concept, you're just doing to pass. And I know some of the students, they even come up with terms to say CPF, cram, pass and forget. It doesn't exist anymore. I know some were using that in the past, but now things have changed. You really need to be up and on top of your game. So if we look, for example, so the ethics, ethical usages and the biases of AI. So we need to be really ethical, and we really need to be very careful of how we use AI, because sometimes it can really be very, very biased. Like if you can get biased outcomes or outputs based on how you use it. So for example, like if you have an incomplete data or skewed data or unrepresentable data, then you might not be able to come to the conclusion you need to come to. So there's one thing actually skipped in my first slide, which is, so understand obviously from the organizers, there's a hashtag that they came up with for this event. So I would like to propose that we go out, put TUT on the map, and use the hashtag, TUT AI Week 2025. And with that, what I'm trying to say is, let's start using this data. Let's go engage, post, show that we're here, participate, and then later on, obviously, that data is going to be used to help TUT improve where it needs to improve, and then see opportunities as well where the opportunity exists. So we need to use that data so that next year when we have that upcoming one, we have another hashtag. And I strongly believe, I hope Dr. Etienne can actually commit here that we're going to have a robot in the next one. So yeah, so let's put TUT on the map, and then let's make sure we stay on top of the game. So, and again, another thing, cybersecurity. So obviously, the more we use AI, the more sometimes we get exposed to some security threats online. It's something that's been spoken about every day. So we need to be really, really careful. So that's another stream where an opportunity lies to see how do we actually strengthen the security around our AI. So while AI is actually taking over some parts of the functions within the ICT, let's support